What's going on, everyone? Real Red Politics here, and welcome back to another video on my channel. Today we are going to be doing the 2022 midterm election prediction video for the United States Senate. This will be for the end of October into the midterms in November, and we are going to discuss a couple races that are going to be rather close and which way I think they will go in the end when we're taking into consideration the red wave year, the high disapproval rating of the president, uh, of kind of factors like this, and kind of the way voters are trending this year, Democrat and Republican voters alike. So we're going to start with the safe Republican states, and we can include Idaho, North Dakota, South Dakota, Oklahoma, both parts of Oklahoma, Iowa, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Alabama, Georgia. I'm sorry, not Georgia. I don't know why I put Georgia in the Republican column, but I'm going to put Florida as a likely or as a safe Republican state. I believe that Marco Rubio will win his seats. I mean, we could kind of take a look real quick and kind of analyze that and do kind of a quick analysis, but I believe Rubio wins between anywhere from 7 to 11 points. So I have safe red state, plus he's rather popular in the state of Florida. I have South Carolina as a safe red state as well. If you want to take a look at kind of South Carolina, get an idea of what we're looking at. Tim Scott is, up extremely high. He'll win easily between at least 10 to 15 points, if not more. We can also include the states of Indiana and Kentucky as well. Kentucky, where you have Senator Rand Paul, who is a very popular incumbent senator there, and he's definitely going to win easily. And looking at everything else, I'm not quite sure Utah is going to be safe Republican. I guess we could take a look here real quick. And no, of course it's going to be safe Republican. I don't know why I was saying it wasn't. But yeah, we'll put Utah into the safe Republican category. And kind of looking at everything else, I'll probably put Alaska in the safe category as well. Yeah, we'll put Alaska into the safe category. Then in regards to other safe Republican states, it doesn't look like there's much, but we can put in the safe Democrat states as well. States of Oregon, California, probably Colorado. Honestly, if we had kind of had a look, I don't see O'Day getting within really more than 10 points, and that's I don't see that really happening. O'Day's not a very strong Republican candidate, and is rather weak on a lot of the issues, and I'm not like catering towards the left, but it's kind of like signaling to the left. So he's not a very strong candidate. So I'm not surprised he's as far down in the polls as he is. So we'll put Colorado in the safe blue state, and then we can take a look at Illinois, just kind of get a general idea. Tammy Duckworth I don't know why she's popular in the state of Illinois. She's not a very good senator, but she's ahead of her current candidate. Looking at the 538 polling we have going on here by almost 20 points, and you can take a look. Polling has her up at least 10 points, so I don't see Tammy Duckworth losing her seat. We can take a look at the state of New York. Now, New York will be interesting in terms of the governor's race, but in terms of the incumbent Democrat senator there, Chuck Schumer, also not a good senator as well, but for whatever reason is popular in the state of New York, he'll win his re-election term by a safe margin, it looks like. Washington, we can take a look at Washington. I'll probably take a look at Oregon just to double check as well. But if we want to look at Washington, it will get probably closer than it's been in past election cycles. And Trafalgar has this within a 1-point margin. I'm not going to put Washington as a safe Democrat state. I don't see it being safe. I see it being more lean to likely. If Trafalgar is accurate with their polling, considering they do have the largest sample size, then it'll be a tilt Democrat state. But I see it being more lean to likely than anything, and so we'll probably end up putting that into the lean category when we get around to it. I guess we can also take a look at the states of. We can take a look at the state of North Carolina. Now, North Carolina is another state that I see most likely heading towards the Republican candidate. Ted Budd is actually a very popular candidate right now. Yeah, so much more so than Beasley. And taking everything into consideration, it's going to be a lean to likely margin. It's going to be more than a tilt margin, but not quite enough to be a safe margin. So it's going to be within lean to likely. We'll probably end up putting it into the lean category. Because if we look at kind of polling, we can see it's between 4 and 6 points, so it'll probably be more lean than if anything. Or I mean, we could really put it into likely if we wanted to. So we'll see when it comes time to putting that state into its category. New Hampshire is another one. New Hampshire, it looks like it's going to go to the Democrat by a lean-ish margin. Yeah, I'm gonna between lean and likely. It'll probably go to the likely category, even though it's only within 4 points with 538. But that's probably gonna go into the more likely category. But who knows? It could go lean. If it gets within between 2 to 4 points by election day, I won't be surprised. We can also look at Vermont. The state of Vermont, where we have the current kind of what the Democrats polling at compared to the Republicans, so that's going to be a safe Democrat state. You can look at the state of Connecticut. State of Connecticut, where Blumenthal is rather popular. Why again, I don't know, but that's probably going to be a safe Democrat state as well. The last safe Democrat will be Maryland. If we take a look here, Maryland could actually get within a somewhat close-ish, close. Never mind. It's going to be a safe Democrat state. So now we can kind of take a look at more lean to likely categories, and the first state I want to look at in terms of lean to likely Republican is the state of Nevada, where Adam Laxalt is doing very well in his state. And 538 has Cortez Masto up. I believe this poll is, I believe that's inaccurate, because if we look at polling here, majority of this polling has Adam Laxalt up by at least a point. So I think it's going to be within. It's probably going to be a lean margin. It's going to be more than a tilt margin, but as of right now, I don't think it's going to be quite a likely margin. So we are going to put the state of Nevada into the lean Republican category. And we could take a look at the state of Arizona. Arizona is another one where the race is extremely close, but I am confident Blake Masters is going to win despite what 538 is polling right now. I believe Masters has done much better in the debates. He has been pretty solid on immigration. He's been solid, in the places he needs to be, especially as the Republican candidate for the state of Arizona. And I think with Kari Lake being an extremely popular candidate, I think will help carry Masters over the finish line. And within the red wave year, I think Masters is likely to win the states by a likely margin. I'm not confident it'll be a likely margin. It'll be between a tilt and lean margin. But I think when it comes everything is said, I'm going to probably put Arizona into probably the lean. I'm going to put it in the tilt margin. And now we can look at the state of Kansas as well. Kansas is going to go to the Republican easily. I don't know why I didn't mark it as safe red, but that's going to be a safe Republican state. Now we can take a look at the states of Wisconsin, kind of get an idea of what's going on there. Wisconsin, where Ron Johnson is up with 538 by over 4 points, almost 4 points, not quite 4 points, almost 4 points. And Ron Johnson is a pretty popular candidate, and I think he's not going to win by a safe margin, but it'll be between a lean to likely margin, and if the trends keep going the way that they are going, it's going to be a likely victory for Ron Johnson. And I think with Michaels being also a popular candidate for the governor's seat for the Republican Party, I think it is likely that Wisconsin will be a likely Republican seat for the United States Senate. You can take a look at Ohio, where J.D. Vance is also a popular candidate, and we can kind of get an idea there. J.D. Vance is up over Tim Ryan by over 1.5 points, according to 538. And you can look at other polling. Other polling has him up 4 points, 5 points, whatever. The ones that have Tim Ryan up are heavily Democrat funded, so I don't count these polls, right? I don't count these two polls. And Baldwin Wallace University, there was definitely undersampling of Republicans, and I think they're overestimating the Democrats' chances of winning. And I think with, again, everything into consideration, the national environment, everything, that the Republicans are likely to not only win this United States Senate, but even maybe flip some seats. So yes, it looks like J.D. Vance is going to win by now. And we can look at the state of Pennsylvania, where I am confident. I did an analysis video about Pennsylvania in regards to the United States Senate and which way I think it'll go. I will leave a link to the top right-hand corner explaining why I think Dr. Oz is going to win the state of Pennsylvania in terms of the Senate seats. Fetterman is a very, very bad candidate. He's radical and isn't solid on any of the issues. And I think Oz, especially after the debate, if we want to look at post-debate polling, the 26th, the 28th coefficient, with a large sample size, has Oz winning by 3 points. Wick has Oz winning by 2. Insider Advantage has Oz winning by 3. This is post-debate. And with Fetterman gaffing as much as he did in the debates, and Oz performing much better, Oz is definitely likely to win. I don't think he'll win by a likely margin, but I think it'll be a lean margin. It's going to be more than a tilt. I'm almost confident in that, but probably not quite a likely margin. And now I'm curious about how the state of Georgia is going to go. I think Herschel Walker is going to win the state. Warnock is also a radical. He's weak on immigration and whatnot. But I think when we're looking at current polling after the debates, people saw that Herschel Walker performed a lot better than what people had expected him. Has performed a lot better than what people expected him to do. So, looking at polling with Insider Advantage, has him up 2 points. Coefficient 3 points. More information 4 points, even though that was sponsored by a Republican affiliated person, Herschel Jr. Walker. But I think it still is within. It's not egregious in terms of it's not an outlier. It's within the same margins that other polling has Herschel Walker up. Trafalgar has Herschel Walker up by 2. So I think there's even one poll that has him up by 5. And this is all after the debates. And I think it is a lot more likely that Walker is going to win than Warnock. Again, Warnock is not a popular candidate in the state of Georgia. And so when we're taking a look into account, I'm not confident it's going to be in the likely category, but I think it'll be more than the lean category. So I think I'm going to put Herschel Walker's seat as a likely Republican seat as right now. And for the North Carolina, we've already discussed this a little bit. We kind of have discussed how North Carolina, Ted Budd is going to win his seat. I'm confident he's going to win his seat by at least 3 points. And I think it's going to be a likely margin. We could put North Carolina to the likely seat. And the only two states that we have left are Washington and New Hampshire. Washington, as I had discussed earlier, is going to probably end up going to the Democrat. Probably between 5 and 6 points. So we can probably put Washington as a likely Democrat state. It's going to be closer than it has been in recent years. but I think it will go to Democrat. I'm going to double check Oregon just because I'm almost confident Oregon is going to have a Republican candidate, or is going to have a Republican governor, but it'll probably have a Democrat senator or Democrat majority Congress in the state of Oregon. So I think I'm pretty solid in terms of how I think Oregon's going to go. And then New Hampshire's the last state that we have to cover. New Hampshire is going to go to, I think in the end, is going to go to the Democrat. It's going to be closer than it has been in recent years. But I do think that in the end, it is going to go to the Democrat candidate, probably by a likely margin, not quite a safe margin. They're not going to win by over 10 points, but they'll win within between 3 to 6 at least, but not quite 10. So that's the current election map that I have for this will be the last election prediction video I have for the United States Senate for the year 2022. This is what it stands at: 53 Republican seats to 46 Democrat seats. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below, and if you did enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It would mean a lot to me. And let me know what you disagreed with, what you agreed with, what you would change. And thank you guys so much for watching, and be sure to stay tuned for more political content coming your guys' way.